Hey guys, welcome to the Field of 68 YouTube channel. If you like what you see here, hit that subscribe button and you'll get more college basketball content just like this. Burning question number 2. Terrence, I'm going to you first on this one. Do you trust Kentucky enough defensively to be able to win 4 straight games in the NCAA tournament?
I don't see why I shouldn't. Now their metrics are going to be skewed. They're 96 on KenPom, but at the same time, South Carolina's good and they're old. That's it.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're good and they're old. Their guards are old. They handle pressure, and they were in Columbia. And in Columbia, they show up for like a game every other season with the packed house because they don't really care about basketball. That's why Frank Martin had a hard time there. But Lamont has grabbed the right guys. He's understood he could get old, and they were a tough matchup for Kentucky, especially at home. Lamont can coach. SEC Coach of the Year. Lamont can coach. For Kentucky, though, I think their metrics are skewed a little bit, quite frankly, guys, because they didn't have those 7-footers. There's still going to be an adjustment process. By March, they're going to be fine. I'm telling you, they're going to be fine. And they're going to be able to score 90-something points a game. Ran into a buzzsaw. Last 2 losses at Texas A&M. Tough physical bunch. They still scored 92. At South Carolina, who, managed the tempo very well against Kentucky. They're going to have to defend in the half court. I love Kentucky still. And with those 7-footers behind that pressure defense, I think they're going to be fine. Yes.
Fana, where do you stand?
In a good place. I'm not reacting to a loss in South Carolina. I thought they were going to lose that game. It's just that is it's really difficult to win on the road. And in the SEC, it's tough. Here's the thing. This is my one worry. They're going to show up to the NCAA tournament, right? And they'll have the spotlight on them. And these kids, I think, can thrive in it. I genuinely think, however things shake out in the tournament, the halftime score of their first-round game is going to be like the halftime score of UConn Iona in the NCAA tournament this past year. If you remember, what was it? A 1-possession game.
Mm-hmm.
And what are you thinking? Again, Connecticut's in this situation? No, come on. This team could win it all. And then they broke out. And then they never looked back. The first one could be the toughest one for this team to get. Not in terms of competition, in terms of mentality. They've got to get that first one and they're a momentum-based team, T.O., like you just said. I think they're a nightmare to play, not when they're getting ready for the Thursday game or the Friday game of the tournament. It's the second game. If you have to play them in the second round, like those dudes just run. They run on nightmare fuel. And they're in transition. You're right. They could just outscore you. And what do we say in the tournament? Your defense only travels so far. So they don't have to be elite defensively with how great they are offensively. They just have to be satisfactory on the defensive end of the floor. Do I buy their Final Four potential? I'm not going to sell it. This team's too talented. Late game execution. It sounds very simple, but it's complicated with Cal. Late game execution is going to be the key as to whether or not this team makes a Sweet 16, gets to an Elite 8, and gets to a Final Four. Who has the ball in their hands, and how are those situations being managed? Or they can just overwhelm everybody with their pace.
Yeah, the one thing that I will say is that I do think you're right. The metrics are skewed a little bit, T.O., but between not having the 7-footers at the start and having a couple games that were blowouts where they gave up big runs at the end. And the UNC Wilmington loss is something where not having Bradshaw or Onyeso or Big Z available, like that was all Wilmington did was just kind of attack Trey Mitchell and ball screens there. And Trey Mitchell's good at a lot of things. Ball screen defense is not really one of them. I worry about having that one game where they don't show up and they run into a team like South Carolina, right? Like I think the ceiling is there. I think that Kentucky's a little bit less matchup proof than some of these other teams in the country. If that makes sense. Go ahead, John.
This is from Brandon Ramsey. He posted this morning. B. Ramsey KSR over at Kentucky Sports Radio. Brandon tweeted, AP top 10 teams are now 17-27 this season on the road against unranked opponents. 17 and 27.
You can't go on making this point when I said it's hard to win on the road in conference, and both of you almost shit on the live stream when I'm talking about Arizona, Oregon State.
We're live here, okay? Just to
Okay.
remind you.
Cuss away, man. Cuss away. Winning is hard. Winning is hard. Shout out to Matt
Winning.
McCall for that. Winning is hard.
Did not know Beavers.
Yeah.
We're okay here. Come on.
To reiterate that point, Fana, just to kind of drive that home. UConn lost by 15 at Seton Hall. Arizona lost by 18 at Washington State. Purdue lost by 16 at Nebraska. Kentucky, obviously, that 17-point loss at South Carolina. And to put this into context, in 2023, UConn had a 12-point loss. In 2022, Kansas lost by 18. In 2021, Baylor had a 13-point loss. In 2019, Virginia lost by 10. Villanova in 2018 is the only team in the last decade to win a national title that did not have a double-figure loss on their resume. In 2016, Villanova lost by 23. In 2014, UConn had a 33-point loss that came in late February. Sometimes these things happen.
Yeah. Do you remember who Villanova lost to?
They lost to Oklahoma in
Pearl Harbor.
In Pearl Harbor, and then they turn around and they beat them by 44 in the Final Four. That's the biggest difference of the biggest game of all time.
Unbelievable.
As you guys know by now, we've partnered with BetMGM this season. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we'll have special offers for the listeners and the viewers of the Field of 68 each and every week of the college basketball season. We have a special offer that will be available starting on Tuesday, January 9th and running through Monday, February 12th, the morning after Super Bowl 58. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, in honor of the big game, you can use the bonus code FIELD158 and you'll get $158 in free bets on your first wager with BetMGM, regardless of whether or not you win that first bet. Here's how you make it work. Download the BetMGM app. Sign up using the bonus code FIELD158. Deposit at least $5 and place your first wager on any game. You'll receive $158 in bonus bets regardless of the outcome of your bet. Just make sure that you use that bonus code FIELD158 when you sign up. And remember, BetMGM is now available under one wallet in select states. As a New Jersey resident, this is super convenient when I have to go cover games in New York or Philly, which happens quite a bit. When you cross state borders, you just log into your existing account and fire away. You don't have to create separate accounts in each state. It's easy, it's simple, it's clean. And most importantly, we have some fun stuff coming up for the heart of the college basketball season. Bet insurance tokens, college hoops odd boosts, and my favorite, a nice juicy parlay boost. So download the BetMGM app and sign up today. Field158. Thank you for watching the Field of 68. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here, hit that like button, share this link with your friends, or check out the description for some other places that you can consume Field 68 content.